Hi, I'm Audrey Meyer, and this is the Find Your Superpower podcast, the show where we hear the story of incredible people changing their body and mind to reach their goal and achieve a peak state. From entrepreneur to community leaders and so on, we learn what it really takes to find your superpower. Hi, Mark.
Hi, great to be here, Audrey.
Yeah, super excited to have you, because your life is amazing, and I want to tell the audience a little bit about you, because you just went from just losing your job to be a very successful person. So just telling the audience a little bit. So Mark Reklau, right? That's your family name. Is a consultant, speaker, and author of 10 books, including the international one bestseller, 30 Days, Change Your Habits, Change Your Life. So, Mark, you were telling me that this book, you wrote it in 2014, and the book's been sold and downloaded over 200,000 times. Wow. And translated in 15 different languages. So that's amazing. So you actually wrote that book, Mark, when you got fired from your job, and you literally were jobless. And then after that book, you became one of the bestseller with that book. So I love your story, and I just can't wait to share your story with the audience. So that's cool. So today your mission is to empower people to create the life they want, right? Like you did with yourself, and to give them the resource and the tools to make it happen. So you write about habits, productivity, and happiness.
Yeah.
Yes. And you I'm always stoked because now you're in your boat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where you live, and that's where you work. So that's cool.
Yeah.
So
it was my dream. It was a dream of mine. So then it was also a goal. So when you have a goal and dreams and work for it, it happens.
Cool. And I know we're going to go a little more into details, but you, the perfect person who can tell us about changing habits and why creating habits are so important to become successful. So could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So when I started about all this process and about thinking about this, and I had a coaching training, and they told us, actually, if you want to change your life, you need to change your habits. You need to change what we are doing every day. Yeah, the thing we always hear, which really is interesting, if you want to get different results, you have to do things differently. And I started thinking about this and said, yes, okay, where am I now? And really, if I want to get to another place, I have to start doing things differently, and maybe I have to. Because habits, the good thing about habits is they are automatic. Yeah. It's like brushing your teeth. Yeah. So you don't need motivation to brush your teeth. You don't need to be inspired to brush your teeth. You just brush your teeth every morning. You have your rituals, you have your habits, and the same thing you can do practically on everything. So the start is when you think about your goal, what do you want, right? So you might take a goal or maybe many goals in 1 year. And then, so what I always do is okay, here's my year goal. Then I go back to 3 months. So let's say if my year goal is I want to write 3 books, right? Or let's say 4 books. So the math go better. So if I want to write 4 books in a year, in 3 months, what do I have to do? Well, 1 book, right? So if I want 4 in 3 months, I should have 1 book. And then I bring it down to the day, because that's where everything happens. Everything happens now, today. And then I say, okay, to get to the idea to have a book in 3 months, I need to write 1,000 words a day.
Yeah.
So my habit will be I write 1,000 words a day. It doesn't matter if you're in good mood, if you're in bad mood, if the sun shines, if it rains, if you're on the boat, if you're on a plane, on the train, 1,000 words you write. And you can do this with everything. So that's how I put my habits together. What is the good thing? That after a while, maybe if you make it part of your life as a habit, after a while, you don't have to think anymore. You don't think, oh, I have to write 1,000 words. You just get a routine. You brush your teeth, you sit down, and you write your 1,000 words.
Yeah.
And this you can do with everything. So when you have, so the first thing, as I said, is important. Have your goals, and then like you narrow it down and say, okay, if I want to reach this goal, maybe every day, what do I have to do? Well, this, or if I want to live healthier, well, maybe a glass of lemon water in the morning at 7 o'clock or so is good.
Yeah.
So then you start. And we know it, no? If you drink 300 glasses of lemon water in a year at the first hour in the morning, your body will thank you. And like this, you can do everything. And the thing is to do it all in little steps, make it easy for you. Start small. Also, don't start with 5 habits, maybe start with 1 or 2 small habits. And then, because the great thing is when you are succeeding, when you're doing with small steps and you're doing it every day, you get more confident. Because what happens to us normally now in these days in January, everybody says, okay, I'm going to go stop alcohol. I'm going to go stop smoking. And then we are at the 15th of January and everybody's like, I'm a failure. I can't even do that. I'm so bad. And we don't want that. So we want to start small and then build up our self-confidence and stopping this, this beating ourselves up, because that's totally, you lose twice. I mean, you don't do the habit, you don't do the real solution. It's already okay. But then when you start beating yourself up, that doesn't really help, right? So
yeah, so true. So to resume what you just said, and you want to get your big goal, right? You want to see it. And earlier we talked about your 10 years goal. And I want you to talk a little more about that. So you choose your 10 years goal and then you break down to your daily goal, right? And that's how you're able to create your easy doing habits, right?
Exactly. Really, Audrey, I work every day. So I have my long-term goals, and now in a week or so, I will go to a nice place, always in the beginning of the year, and I'll write down all my goals for the year, my goals in relationship, in business. But at the end, I will all narrow it really down to daily goals. And so the rest of the year, I will only work on daily goals, because I'm convinced, it's kind of logical, that if every day I do my daily goals, automatically 2020 will be awesome for me. Yeah. And of course, I know it because I've done it for 3-4 years now, and really 1 year got better and better and better and better. And I even found out, because I'm writing everything down, and maybe that's also kind of motivating, I don't even need to achieve all my goals. I found out I only achieve like half of my goals that I set, but still with that, it's like it has been 1 year more awesome than the other year. Yeah. And knowing that, so I can even know now when I write down my goals, sometimes I write down some crazy goals, because I say, well, maybe it's in the 50% that I will reach, because I'm from what I have written down, I see I reach about 50% of the goals. Yeah. For me, that's absolutely okay. That's also another approach. It's like, if you don't reach your goal, don't beat yourself up. Yeah. Celebrate what you have achieved. So if I say, okay, this year I want to earn 100,000, and then I earn only 60,000, I will say, hey, great, 60,000. Yeah. Maybe it's 10,000 more than last year. Yeah. And I will not say, oh God, I'm so bad, I wanted 100. Oh God, so always celebrate how far you have come, and then just go at it again next year.
Yeah, that's so true. And it's funny that you say that. Or actually, it's interesting. It's not funny. But you guys writer, right? I try to read. So my goal is reading 10 pages a day. It's not a lot, right? But for me, it's a lot. So every day, 10 pages, I'm opening my book. For example, Destination Happiness, which you wrote as well. So I open my book and I try to read 10 pages a day. And then you're right, it becomes a habit, like I brush my teeth, I go to my bed, I open my book. And one night I don't, that's okay. But the other day, you want to stick with it, right?
Absolutely. And listen what you just said. You said 10 pages a day. That's nearly 4,000 pages in a year. That's 3,650 pages in a year. That's a lot. That's probably like 20 books that's more than many people. I think that's more than 90% of the people
Yeah.
read. So, and imagine how much knowledge that is for you that you add every year. And then we're talking about 1 year. And then in 5 years, that's 100 books you read, you know. And this is what it took me so long to find it out, because we all want a quick fix and smart. But the thing is really these small steps, 10 pages a day during 1 year. It's a lot more than 1 book a month.
Yeah.
Because you actually get to 20 books. And when you can start embracing this is amazing. And I know you will. I think you will also have my friend Thibaut Maurice on the
Yes.
on the
show
summit, and he told me once, because we are like-minded, and we also have like a mastermind. We're helping each other, and he's like, he says, I don't care if I don't see results yet. I trust the process.
Yeah.
And it's stuck with me. It's like you need to trust the process. So even you read 10 pages every day. In a month, that's not so much. But in a year, it's amazing. And in 5 years, it's even, and it goes with everything like that. And it's, if we could only have the patience, I mean, and if you look at successful people, most of them work like this. They're more constant, they're more persistent, and they just keep going and going and going and going and going. And then sometimes one day you don't do anything, not a problem. Go back tomorrow, right? Or some days you can't read 10 pages because maybe you are sick. Well, then you read 1 page or 2 pages, and like this. But on the long run, and it's so important, because I have lots of young people writing to me. They're like 20, 24, and they say, "Oh, I don't have patience," and I have to tell them, guys, you are nearly a baby. When I was in your age, I didn't have studies yet, and then later I studied a career for 5 years. I didn't like to work in a job I hated for 11 years. So you are much further than I am, and if you can learn patience earlier than me, you can build up on it quicker, you know.
That's so true. And I want to go back to what you just say, enjoying the process and not the result. For example, it's like I used to be a professional kiteboarder, right? So competing in a sport. So we would train and train and train. And sometimes we will not always win, right? We would not always be on the podium. But the training taught you so much more than winning, right? The person, or let's say you cook a meal for your husband and you try to make it look good, and then in the end it burns. It doesn't matter. You cooked, you learn about cooking. It doesn't matter if you burn the chicken or not, but at least during that process, you learn something about cooking, right? And it's the same with everything in life.
It's the same with everything. And actually what you said before, when you're reading Destination Happiness, it was really also for me great to find out, because I always thought like it's something that, because we are taught this will make you happy. When you have an apartment, you will be happy. When you get married, you will be happy. And then you do it and you're not happy, and you're like, ooh, what am I doing wrong, right? And then to get the perspective, when I read books of Sean Aker, Tal Ben-Shahar, Marty Seligman, these great pioneers of positive psychology, to say, no, it's not the goal that makes you happy. It's the journey, it's the process that makes you happy. And also for happiness itself, happiness is not a moment, it's the journey. It's this lifelong journey. And this can change a lot in the mindset. So for me, it changed everything. And that's why I'm a quite happy person now. Also, what we also can't forget, I mean, I have sad days, I get angry. So all them painful emotions, I have them, and it's normal. They are part of happiness. So we cannot treat them like orphan children or something. No, they it's part of everything. It's part of happiness.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it's even necessary to feel the sadness or anger or whatever, so that you later can even enjoy more. Joy, the happiness feelings.
Yeah, that's so true. So so talking about that, obviously you became, Mark, really successful from being jobless to become a bestseller and writing more than 10 books. How many books you wrote now?
I have 10 now, like 10, but then with the languages,
right?
I wrote a couple in Spanish and English, so yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about, they say, what do successful people do? So you're successful. So can you just give us a little bit of a routine or something, a morning ritual, for example, that will help
Yeah,
you become successful?
I really have to say that. So because as everybody, so I am my life goes also like this. So I have sometimes I have success, sometimes I fail, and it's got not so bad. So it's a great thing what you say because a couple of years I had like a low point because I had big expectations for a book publishing in Japan and it didn't work out. So I was like really sad, and it was not even only sad, I was apathic because it was just such a huge blow. And then I look back. So thank God I write about this. So when I get really down, I say, okay, what are you writing about? Let's see. How can you get out of this? So I was like depressed for 3 hours, and then I started already like working. My brain started working like, what can I do? What can I learn from it? What you said before. And then I said, what did I do when I was most successful? And really, and this is exactly what you said. And I also studied other people, and the successful people, most of them have a morning ritual.
Yeah.
So, and my morning ritual is usually it's like get up at 6, and then it depends. When I'm writing, then the first thing I will do is write because so that I can do it. But usually when I'm not writing, it's like get up at 6, maybe do a walk of 15 minutes just to get a little bit going. And I know it's also good for my brain to get more creative and everything. Then I do my gratitude, which is absolute. So the gratitude habit I would recommend to everybody. And it's just like writing 3 things you are grateful for. You write them down. I'm grateful for example, now for our talk.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for a cup of coffee that I drink in a nice beach bar, not far from here. And then I feel the happiness also. I think it's very important to feel the happiness. And this happiness ritual alone will already go a long way. So this is one part of my ritual. Then I might meditate for 5 or 10 minutes, which can be just like lying down, and just concentrate on my breath. So I think because before I thought, oh, meditation, oh, it's so mystical. And
Yeah.
actually it's just like, no, sit down and breathe and concentrate on one thing, concentrate on your breath or concentrate on the light of a candle or something like that, and just like relax, right? And there are also guided meditations. So sometimes I do a guided meditation where I just lie down and then somebody tells me, so you're walking through the wood, everything is nice. It helps me to relax. So that's one thing that I could do 10 minutes. And then I plan my day ahead. And this is actually also already part of my evening ritual. The day before, I already plan what's the 3-4 most important things for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I notice exactly when I do it and when I don't do it. Because when I do it, the next day is like, wow, bum, bum, bum. I know exactly what to do.
Yeah.
And if I don't do it, it can be like a day where I'm like, when you don't know where you're going, like, okay, let's go check email. And then you look up and you have been 3 hours in email, And so these days, every now and then they happen, but not very often because I'm very also greedy with my time. And I know that email is a big thief of time. So morning ritual, a little bit of exercise, a little bit of walking, gratitude.
Yeah.
So for me, because many people also write to me, say, Mark, I don't have an hour in the morning to do all this stuff or half an hour. So I said, look, do what goes best. But if you can do only one thing for 5 minutes, do the gratitude. It will change everything.
This
and
is yeah, and gratitude is so important. Sometimes we take things for granted. It's like, look, you have a beautiful life. You live in a boat. I live in the Caribbean. But we forget, forget. And we take, oh, it's too hot. It's too cold. Whatever. It's like, no, look at this. I worked hard to get there. I need to be thankful for time now, for the present moment, right? Sometimes we're thinking about the future or remembering the past. No, live in the present, enjoying the talk with amazing people. So just be grateful for what we have right now.
It's so important. And it changes everything. And it's scientifically proven that it rewires your brain practically to be more optimistic, to see more things you can be grateful for. And it's really amazing. I'm doing it. And I'm sure, it's not only a part of my happiness. I think also it's one of the most important ingredient of my success. Yeah. I noticed that the more grateful I got, the more successful I became, because it changes everything. You know, you also see more you see more opportunities.
Yeah.
So if there are more opportunities there, every now and then you will also catch one, you know, and make something out of it. And I remember that before, maybe 5-6 years ago, you know, I thought I didn't see opportunities. I thought maybe there's one opportunity, and if you don't catch it, it's gone. And since I do the gratitude, I see like everywhere. I see it. I see opportunities everywhere. You get more optimistic. Your immune system improves. All this stuff only from being grateful and writing down 3 things you're grateful for every day. It probably after a week it will be more. So when I sit down, I write in 1-2 minutes. I write 10 or 15 things already because that's what that's suddenly everything. You know, suddenly it's like, oh, the water. I'm grateful for the water I drink. Grateful for internet. I'm grateful for Apple that made my, you know, or whatever other company that made mobile phones and computers. Because exactly, and it's exactly the antidote to not taking things for granted, and it's also an antidote to the painful emotions like anger, envy, sadness. Because, and now let's see in the future, try it, but I've never been able to be grateful and sad at the same time, or grateful and angry at the same time. It doesn't work. If you are grateful, there's no other emotion, there's no room for another emotion. On the other hand, around, if I'm angry and I think, well, I could be grateful, then I wouldn't be angry anymore. And then it's like, no, but I want to be angry. So I don't want to be grateful now, because I know if I would be grateful, the anger would be gone, right? So it's very, really magical, huh? The gratitude.
Absolutely. I totally understand what you mean. And because I'm doing the exercise myself, and you know what? I realized at the beginning, you know, when you start doing the exercise, you're like, what I'm grateful for. And remember, maybe it's years that you've been doing that exercise, so not sure you remember. But at the beginning, you're like, what I'm grateful for. You know,
Absolutely.
It takes a while. And then months, weeks, years later, you have your page, like so many things you're grateful for. So it's not that you more grateful for, it's not that you're grateful for more things, it's that your mindset changed. Right?
Exactly.
To realize that, like, maybe the first time you tried to make your list about grateful, you were like, oh, I'm grateful that I'm healthy. And then you realize, it's like, oh my God, but I'm grateful for so many things. And it changed your mindset, right?
Absolutely. And it's exactly what happened to me. I remembered it because when I wrote my book about gratitude, I still have my first gratitude journal here. And I looked at it and said, what was I writing down? And it was like, you know, you see it, like it was really difficult to come up. And then you see with the time it gets more and more easy. And it's a mindset change. And it's that, you know, so for example, me at my job, I lost my job, okay, but I also wasn't grateful for my job anymore. You know, I hated my job.
Yeah.
Because if I would have been grateful, probably I could have been different, and I could have been more appreciative to my boss, to my colleagues. But no, or when does a relationship get sour? When you're not grateful for each other anymore. So that's really a great thing that I'm also doing with my partner. We are like, with my girlfriend, like being grateful. And it's also a great exercise to do it with kids. So I have clients who do it in the evening with the whole family, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, Mark, I know we talked about that before starting the interview, and I want to ask you a question about the power of no. And you talked a little bit, you're like, yes, some people don't want to hear about, right? But I believe it's so important for self-care, or I want you to go a little more into detail. So what is the power of no? And you talk about on the website as well.
Absolutely. I mean, the power of no is really to say no most of the time, right? And I told you, in companies, when I do company training, they don't like it. Because in company, they don't want to hear people to say no. They want people to say yes to everything. Do you want to make this report and make 2 hours extra? Yes, of course I want. But what happens, right? And I also, in the book, I write about this, that I am at the beginning, when I was working at work, and I wanted to be the nice German, you know, and I never said no. And after a while, I was the most liked person there, but I was also the most busy and stressed person, because I got all the bad jobs from everywhere. So I needed to say, when I started saying no, my life improved. Saying no is a great trick for productivity. So really saying no to people. And so in productivity, I would say no until you get your stuff in order, and then you can start doing favors again. But don't, and also in the private life, we know so many people, and you said it's self-care. I get mail from so many people who said, no, but I can't do it because I have this and that and this and that. So many commitments. And I'm saying, look, if you want to improve something, you need to start thinking about which commitments you let go. Do you really need to be in the volunteer for that, or in the committee for that? Or because if you want to be there, of course, then, it will be like this, but then you can't complain.
Yeah.
It's so difficult. Well, we are so afraid of saying no to people. They might not like us anymore. No. But so the best thing is when you start doing it, and I was the same, afraid. But it's also a great filter, because the people, when your friends, who react strangely to it, when you say, no, sorry, I want to stay home today, I need to take care of my kids, or I just want to be with my husband or relax, those are not real friends. And I can tell you from my experience, my friends are still there, even if I told them no many times, and that's the thing. And then when I also noticed, when I studied successful people, it's really the most successful people say no the most of the time. They say more no than yes. They say a lot more no than yes. And you notice it also when you have a business. You need to know, if you say yes to every meeting, in 1 year probably your business will go down, because it's just you have been at every business meeting, everybody's happy, but you have lost a lot of time. So it's very important. The power of no.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think I would like to add, when you say no to something and the yes you say are much more powerful, because you actually can give so much more value because you have more time, and we're not made to multitask, right? You know that we cannot do 1,000 things at the same time. So you say but then when you say yes, you deliver, and you deliver 200%.
Absolutely. And it's really great, because it reminds me, one of my best friends, in the beginning, he also, had a problem. Of course, when your friends want to go out with you and you always say no, it's okay, it's difficult. But then after a while, when he got to know me, he said, when I said no, he said, oh, it's okay. It's better you stay home, because when you say no, but then I convince you to come, it's not the same.
Yeah.
So so my friends are like this. When I say yes, then they know it will be great. And in a job, it's the same thing, right? But it's important to say no. And if you want more time for yourself, you need to say no more times. And I've seen great things. For example, once I worked with a woman. She was a single mother. She had 2 sons, and she didn't have time for herself, But also she made every day, she made the sandwich for their sons, right? And she had like this inner thing that if I don't make the sandwich, my sons won't like me anymore. Probably something like that. But then to get some more time for her, she needed to find out. And then maybe for 2 days in a week, she didn't make the sandwich, and nothing happened. Her sons loved her the same, she could even see they can even cook themselves and stuff like this. So this is the dynamics that change also because it's also a little bit, you play a role, or you play various roles in your life. And if you decide to stop playing one role, somebody else moves in and plays this role.
Yeah, and it can teach them something, right? With your story, like the kids probably learn to make their own sandwich, which it's not bad, right? At one point they have to learn to make their own food.
Exactly. And then on the other hand, again, coming back to gratitude, they enjoy it even more when the mother cooks for them. Because if the mother cooks every day, it's like, normal, take it for granted. Here we are again, right? With the gratitude.
Yes.
So but the biggest fear of people why they don't say no is fear of, that people don't like us anymore, right? Or that my boss pressures me or something like that. But then I always think, we also say, to us, people say also no, right? And if it's our friend and they say no to us, are we not their friends anymore? No, of course we are still their friends, because we understand them. So usually it's also, we are much harder on ourselves than on other people.
Totally. So true what you said. Yeah. So I love just taking back power of no to be, for me, I see like to be able to say yes better, right? And to be also able, for example, I know me as a coach and fitness coach, if I take too many people to train, I'll be so tired that I won't be able to deliver to everybody.
Exactly.
So I have my schedule. I'm like, I only have this amount of people I can take, which means I can give so much more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It is a balance, and you learn it by self-reflection and by just knowing yourself better. Because, for example, I also love to do interviews. I love to do a lot of interviews, but every now and then I have to take and say, so now for 3 weeks I will say no to everything, because if not, it will get too much for me, right? So, but I know myself.
I'm glad you say yes to me.
Of course, with the name of your summit, I couldn't. You had me already with the name Crush Your Fears.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about it, because I felt very identified, because like 6 years ago, I was a different person.
Yeah.
I was a scared person. I didn't take any risk. I was I was totally in my comfort zone. And I was so, afraid of failure that I didn't do anything. And I was stuck for 10 years. I had the same day happening for 10 years. And I thought it's 10 years. It was the same day over and over again. And then when I started crushing my fears, when I did things instead of fear, because for me, the fear was never going away. It's still there, The unknown always makes us a little bit afraid. But when I started overcoming the fear of failure and all this stuff, that's when my life started, really.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of failure, a lot of rejection, and still it has been the best 5 years of my life.
Thank you guys for joining. I will see you in the next podcast on audreymeyercoaching.com.